Hi, this is Erica. For the last 7 years, maybe six, if I'm going to be exact, 2007, I started really questioning sexuality. Uh, why were people so adamant about keeping sex under control when they would smash the rock and roll records and say, this is all of the devil and everything. And as I have grown, I've noticed that every time that I've ever had low grade animal sex, that I'm disempowered somehow. Uh, I would almost feel like I was jinxed. And even when I was young, I was molested, not by anybody in the family, but somebody that drugged me and put me on a roofie. And I was so innocent. I was at the mentality of probably a 10-year-old. Even though I had just turned 18, I really lived in such a secluded home with a very controlling mother. So when this happened to me, they threatened to kill me afterward and threatened to kill my family members if I told anybody. So just out of complete terror, I held it in and never told anybody. And this creep, had cameras on me and everything. And I was so young, and I had just won a beauty pageant representing Miss Teen Wisconsin. And this guy was the actual MC. So I had really been, what happened was he had awarded me a recording session after the pageant. He announced it, and then my mother dropped me off at his home studio. And when she left, there was nobody there, and he gave me a drink, and next thing I knew, I was completely taken over. And he had no compassion. It was like he was possessed. And anyway, that was my awakening of my childhood, my innocence just being ripped from me completely. And I know so many people can relate to this, especially men that have been molested by perverts, whether it's a female or a male. So many men now are finally starting to talk about it. So obviously there's something in this world that knows that when that is taken from you, it is something so virtuous and powerful. And they use, why do you think they say sex sells? Because in black magic, they always use sex to empower anything, because everything has electromagnetic energy. And as you know, an orgasm has the greatest energy. And it's always represented as the Kundalini, the serpents rising up the spine. And they even use that on the medicine staff. And if you notice in the pharaohs, they always have the snake coming through the third eye. That's the people that use the Kundalini energy. It can be used with white magic or black magic. And I don't even like the word magic, because then that gives it a connotation. But it's really energy, wielding a source of energy for good or bad. And in the book of, in the story of Moses, the reason his staff was stronger than the Pharaoh's staff was because he used his Kundalini with white energy. He was married, he honored his marriage, he used sex as something tantric and sacred. He didn't pervert it animalistically, and the Pharaoh did. He used that energy for dark magic, and that's why, everything's cryptic. It always is that way in this world. Everything is cryptic, like we're too stupid to handle the truth. And the sad thing is that, like, I can't even handle listening to any kind of religious radio. Just the sound of those evangelicals makes me want to vomit. They have perverted these teachings with so much fire and brimstone and fear. And really, if you study sacred geometry, astronomy, astrology, quantum physics, any of that is all God. And it explains things to the nano in a very, even in layman's terms, where you can just understand it. So, I did a pilgrimage to Japan in 2007. And I remember one of the biggest things on my mind was, what about sex? What about fantasies? When you orgasm, and, most people have to think of something pretty naughty to have an orgasm. least I did. I didn't even know how to use that energy in a beautiful way. When people teach the birds and the bees, it's always just the stupid intercourse thing, okay, this is the penis goes in the vagina and then the semen in the egg. Why don't they teach children about the power of the Kundalini? I mean, you're never too young to learn something like that, and it's certainly not dirty. It's absolutely natural. But no, we're dumbed down to the point, even with these stories of Snow White, it's cryptically in the story of Snow White. When she bites into the apple, that apple is representative of the animal sex, the carnal desire, and that's why the witch makes her bite into that, because then she loses her purity. That's why she was called Snow White. She was white as snow. The seven dwarfs were representative of the seven virtues. So when she bites the apple and she tastes what the tree of knowledge, that's going into that realm of understanding desire and desire as an animal. So she goes to sleep, meaning her consciousness is asleep now, just like all of us when we go into the age of puberty and suddenly we're curious about sex. As soon as children have gone into pornography, that has already put them to sleep, because now they are asleep. And until the purity wakes them up to find their own purity within, to never engage in animal sex, because then that puts you down into the third dimensional energy, that really dense animal energy. And it's fine for animals to have sex like that. They're not consciously aware of that. It's just procreation and carnal desire. But we have the ability to harness that energy to create, because we're creators. So why not harness that energy to create something magnificent out of our lives and out of this world, to actually keep something sacred that produces an energy that is second to none. So, I was an actress, and I know I did a couple movies with these stupid, topless scenes simulating, you know, sex, and those movies destroyed my career. They were just stupid, low budget films, and they were said, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna shoot this very tastefully." Yeah, right. Anyway, those movies destroyed my career. And I have no regrets. I mean, everything has taught me something. But I can tell you that even embarking in this world of dating, the moment a man is pushing for something sexual fast, there's no respect there. None. This is another animal desire. And there's nothing, I'm not going to judge it, because it is what it is. But if you put your energy level down to that, that's exactly what you're going to create. You're going to create more of that same animal desire, which, as the Buddha says, desire leads to emptiness. It's fruitless. It's a vicious circle. And I think the serpent eating its own tail is representative of many things. Some people say the circle of life, or, things, evil eating itself, but it could also represent this Kundalini energy just going nowhere. So there are a couple videos that I really highly recommend. I don't know if I have the exact title, but it's Sexual Alchemy, and the other one, Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot just did an excellent video on it as well, and she's the first one that I've actually heard talk about it, and I'm going to email her and tell her right on, because I think this is the biggest secret that's been kept from us. And when I talk to people about it, it just right over their head. It's like they absolutely either don't want to hear it, or they're incapable of hearing it. They don't have the ears to hear or the eyes to see it. It's one of those things that when you're searching and questioning it for a long time, that that there's something to this, that's when it's going to start making sense to you. And I'm telling you, man, I got sucked into the Hollywood thing. I mean, it was all about, I want to be famous. I want people to know me. I want to be sexy. I want to have a boob job, get my lips injected. And now look at me. My lips look like a fish, and, my breasts, thank God I was able to take them out, because I love my natural breasts now, and I would never, ever do that again. But what is this? What is this thing where women are absolutely, well, men too now, it's a universal thing, and children, it's like wanting to look like anime or Barbie dolls and get the big contact lenses, and it's like there is such a distortion of what we are born to do here. Heaven is here on earth. It's within us. This moment that we have right now, you always hear about Eckhart Tolle or, Gary Zukov or Greg Braden, all of them. They all talk about this now moment. And the greatest monks and all the greatest teachers, it's all about the here and now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, here and now. Right now is heaven on earth if we allow it to happen. And the moment we renounce anything impure, whether it be killing people, killing animals, killing this planet, killing ourselves, till we walk away from that. And until we start honoring our own body, honoring children, honoring animals, honoring everything. And I don't know what happens, because we've all been children at one point. How in the world can someone who knew what it was like to be an innocent child take another child's innocence? You should know better than that. Shame on you. The moment a thought enters your head that's that dark, remove it immediately. It's not coming from you. And let a child remain innocent. Never strip a child of that most precious gift. And I beg of you, anybody who would even hear me saying this right now, I beg of you, don't do it. Respect a child as a child. Respect that innocence. It's the most beautiful thing in this world. A child is absolutely, this make me cry. Children are our future. That's it. Honor them. Be an example for them. Break the chain. If it was done to you, break it here and now. Anyway, that's what I wanted. I was just so feeling it this morning to just put it out there. And to just get it out and let this video go where it goes. It's not a fancy video. I don't know how to edit like that, but I'm speaking from my heart, and more than anything, oh God. I want us to honor and love each other. Honor yourself first, though. If you don't honor yourself, you've got no foundation. None. Wean yourself off of alcohol, pornography, thoughts that are unclean, if it makes you feel ugly on the inside. And it's not power. True power is gentleness and beauty, connectedness and love. Everything else is just disempowerment and leads to nowhere. But this is everyone's journey. There is, somehow, I don't think there's any right or wrong. So I don't judge it. But it's just, I pray that we all want this peace on earth, that it starts with you. So, okay. Sorry I got so emotional, but I'm not going to edit it because it's just what it is. So, much love to you. And please seek out this material. You'll find it. And listen with your heart and your intuition.